question regarding to what we call the difference between what we call an offer letter, then what we call a contract. Yes, something that I need to remind you. When we look at an offer letter, then a contract itself, both so much for coming back. Yes, remember, it's always Mex from the Mexcreationtv and giving you the updates and giving you the guides of living in Qatar and how better you can go through the small labor laws and some of the procedures that you need to follow. Yes, one was asking me a question regarding to what we call the difference between what we call an offer letter, then what we call a contract. Yes, something that I need to remind you. When we look at an offer letter, then a contract itself, both documents are very useful when it comes to what we call the employment process. Yes, for those that have really got visas, you'll agree with me. The first step for you, before you get a visa, they will definitely have to first give you what we call a job offer. A job offer will states all the requirements that the employer needs out of you. Then from the job offer, the person will apply for you the visa, and once he applies for you the visa, you'll be permitted to come into the country. And when you come into the country, then he'll do other formalities of getting you what we call a work permit. Then from getting the work permit, then you'll be given what we call, once your work permit is approved, then you'll get to sign what we call a contract. Yes, let us try to look at what we call the job offer. Yes, when we look at a job offer and what we call an employment contract, both are very important. How are they very important? Because they're both the offer letter and the employment contract are governed by what we call Article 14 of 204, as is according to the Qatar labor law, and something else that you need to understand. However, both of them are very important, there is one that has a more weight when it comes to the legal status or the legal queue according to the law 14 of 204, according to what you call the labor laws. And what you need to know, both of them have what you call the legal status under the labor law, and their weight depends on which one definitely you need to understand. Yes, when we look at the job offer, most of the times the job offers has what we call the basic terms. The basic terms, like for example, the job title, salary, work location, joining date, work hour, and duration. If sometime those that have been very careful, they will include what we call a duration of it also. However, something that you need to understand when it comes to a job offer, it is not law binding. You cannot go to court and file a case because you have a job offer. Yes, your employer has a right to decline what we call a job offer. Yes, then also something you need to understand with what we call a job offer, it is used for visa application. Most of you will agree with me to your countries you've been to. When a company needs to take over your services, even if you're inside the country and you need to change, if the company needs your services, definitely the first thing the company is going to do, it's going to give you what you call a job offer. Once giving you the job offer, then probably it is going to start processing what you call the visa for you. So normally what you need to understand that both signed, once the job offer is signed by you and your employer, then your employer you will use the job offer to apply for what you call the visa. Let us try to look at what we call an employment contract. An employment contract is law binding. It bridges or it binds you, the employer, and the employee. There is a contractual agreement that definitely should get to agree. Then when you look at an employment contract, you'll find that the employment contract will have the full details of what you are supposed to have, what is entitled to you, and what your employer is supposed to offer to you. That is why when you have an employment contract, yes, you can go to court. Yes, you can file a case in court in case both parties get to agree, which may not be the case with what you call a job offer, because the job offer expires and a contract may be a binding for what you call a given period of time. So most of you, you've had what you call a job offer and an employment contract. However, something that I need to let you know, the details in the job offer should be the same details when it comes to your contract. Most of you have got unaware that you find the details are contemporarily different from what is in the job offer. But however, a tip to take that you should make sure that the details that were in the job offer are the same as the employment contract. That's why in most of the cases, it is always advisable that you keep a copy of the job offer and the employment contract as well. Hope I've tried to share something. Thank you so much. It's always Max from the Mexcreation TV, trying to give you a guide living in Qatar and some of the basics that